Welcome friends to a review on the 2025 Ford Bronco Stroppe Edition. Before I set off, I just want to quickly explain to you what this Stroppe Edition is. This is essentially a homage vehicle, and it's the successor to the original Stroppe Baja Bronco from the 60s and the 70s. Those were vehicles that were tuned and calibrated by Bill Stroppe, and those vehicles won at the Baja 1000. Fast forward, we now have this new Stroppe Special Edition powered by a 2.7 liter turbocharged V6 engine. And for 2025, if you want a two-door Bronco with the V6 engine, this is actually the only way to get it, because the Stroppe Edition is also going to be replacing the Wildtrak trim level, and these models only come equipped with the 10-speed automatic transmission. We also get upgraded Fox dampers, and essentially this Stroppe Edition is going to be your most capable two-door Bronco, and you can even look at this as the closest thing to a two-door Bronco Raptor even, because when you get the Stroppe Edition, it essentially comes fully loaded with everything. You naturally get the Sasquatch package here. You get the Fox dampers, as I mentioned before, you get the 35-inch Goodyear Territory RT tires, and you get the stabilizer bar disconnect. And I'm sure you've already noticed the very striking exterior. No joke, this vehicle has gotten so much attention out on the road. Everyone loves it, from younger folks to more elderly. This has brought smiles to so many people as I've been driving this around. And the colors that you see here, it once again harkens back to the Stroppe models of the 60s and the 70s. Of course, the colors have changed because the original Bronco Stroppe, it was finished in Calypso Coral, Wimbledon White, and Astra Blue. But these new modern Stroppe editions, they're finished in the new Ford colors, such as Oxford White, Code Orange, which, by the way, Code Orange was reserved for the Raptor models only. This is the first non-Raptor Bronco to receive the Code Orange color. And you also get Atlas Blue for the roof panels, and you get matte black hood and trunk areas as well. So we have 4 colors here with the Stroppe Edition, and that's one of the reasons why this is so striking. And when you check the window sticker of these Stroppe Editions, it'll say Oxford White as the color, but we know that this vehicle is not just Oxford White. That's just the way that it comes painted from the factory. And then afterwards, Ford goes back and paints this vehicle again with the Code Orange color on the sides. And it's incredible the way that they have done this, because when you run your finger over the paint, you don't notice like a gap or a step. And that Atlas Blue color for the roof panels, it's got like that metallic flake in it, and the Oxford White and the Code Orange, they're more of a flat color. So again, an additional contrast there. And according to Ford's official website, it does say that the hood and the trunk area, that is actually a matte black wrap. I know for a fact that the Code Orange is paint, but they specifically state that the hood and the trunk areas are matte black wrapped. And the purpose of the matte black hood is to reduce reflection and glare. We also get various Stroppe Edition branding. You also have Bronco written on the side of the vehicle as well. We also get a very cool retro-inspired frozen white grille with the Bronco lettering written in Code Orange. There's a small Sasquatch badge on the rear of the driver's side. We have the 17-inch matte black beadlock capable wheels. I believe you have to buy like an extra kit to convert them into a true beadlock. And the interior space also continues the white and the Code Orange theme seen from the exterior, and I'll cover more of that during the interior segment. Right now, with all of this established, let's go ahead and let's get this vehicle out on the road and let's see how it does. Okay, now that we have this vehicle out on the road, let's talk about some of the driving dynamics. As mentioned before, we have the 2.7 liter turbo V6 engine for 2025. Once again, this is the only way that you can get a two-door Bronco with a V6 engine. This engine is able to run on both regular and premium fuel. You will get more power by putting in the premium fuel, but no matter which fuel grade that you go with, this vehicle will always be producing over 300 horsepower and over 400 pounds-feet of torque. According to Car and Driver, when they did a test on the V6 powered like Wildtrak two-door, they got a 0 to 60 time of about 6.3 seconds, and the 4-cylinder model achieved a 0 to 60 time of 7 seconds flat. I gotta say, in the real world, I don't notice a massive difference in acceleration between the V6 and the 4-cylinder engine. In fact, I absolutely love the 4-cylinder engine with these Broncos. Just last year, I was able to test a 4-door Bronco with the Sasquatch package. It had the 4-cylinder engine in it, and it was great. Yeah, this engine is really potent, but once again, so is the Turbo 4. And I genuinely like the way they have tuned the 4-cylinder to sound. So no matter the engine, out on the street, I think everyone is going to be satisfied with really either option. Fuel economy on this, it's about 17 city, 18 out on the highway, and that seems to be accurate. And not a bad fuel economy figure for what this is. There are some generic 3-row SUVs that get about this type of fuel economy, especially around town. And I'm also really impressed with the way this 10-speed automatic shifts, at least in the automatic mode. Okay, so the drivetrain is rather impressive. Now let's talk about the handling of this SUV. So we have here the 2-door Bronco. The wheelbase on these is about 100 inches. And if you go with a 4-door Bronco, the wheelbase on that is about 116 inches. So a 16-inch delta between the wheelbases of both of these vehicles, and that is a substantial difference, and you do genuinely notice it out on the road. But over the course of my testing, I have to say, I am impressed with the handling capability of this 2-door Bronco. The confidence is decent when you're taking your everyday left-hand, right-hand turns, your long sweeping corners, and even the stability out on the highway is surprisingly not bad here. Occasionally you will notice some nervousness under hard acceleration, but that's about it. This SUV copes rather well in the back roads where I'm testing it. Now make no mistake, the 4-door Bronco is better still. Due to that longer wheelbase, the stability is improved once again. You kind of lose out on some of that nervousness that you feel. And also the ride comfort of the 4-door is better. With this 2-door model, you do notice some of these smaller impacts being transmitted throughout the cabin a bit more. Again, it's not terrible by any means. This is a hardcore off-roader with the Fox dampers, but I have to say everything here is tuned and calibrated really well for street driving as well. Genuinely, I am impressed with all of the Broncos that I have tested. Sasquatch package, non-Sasquatch, even the little Bronco Sports, they have all delivered a truly exceptional driving quality out of the streets. Brakes are rather good. I believe when I checked some of the Edmunds spec sheets, the Wild Track and also the first edition 2-door Broncos from 2021 with the V6 engine weighed about 4,500 pounds. So that should be a similar weight figure to what we have here with the Stroppe edition. So despite the high curb weight, the vehicle is performing rather well. And regarding the refinement, obviously it's not completely silent in here. You do get some wind noise and some tire noise for sure, and that's to be expected. We don't have like double pane glass being used on the sides, nor is that really necessary. I mean, me personally, I prefer to drive this with the windows down. It's such a great connected driving experience, and it's just a vibe to drive it in that way, right? But yeah, I really want to bring up the refinement because we have these 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler RT tires, and we don't have this ridiculous tire hum going on here, even out on the highway. And that means an additional level of refinement can be unlocked with these Broncos if you just swap these tires out with an all-terrain or something. And that can also, once again, improve your driving dynamics out on the street as well. And as mentioned before, regarding the ride quality, I mean, yeah, you do feel the smaller bumps, but this is not a back-shattering experience by any means. You can totally daily drive this. And mind you, this is a 2-door Bronco with the Fox dampers. It is the most off-road capable 2-door that you can get, and it's still this decent to drive. But some of the subtle cons I've noticed regarding this driving experience is going to be the transmission, at least in its manual mode. So I already mentioned that in the automatic mode, the transmission shifts perfectly fine. But if you want to shift this vehicle yourself, Ford gives you like these little buttons on the gear lever. I'm not a big fan of that. I wish Ford would give us like a separate section where you can just knock the gear lever over into, and then you can just move the entire shifter up and down. That's what I prefer. But regardless of that, the manual shifting is rather slow and lethargic. You would have to step up to the Bronco Raptor to get paddle shifters and all of that, and that's a more quicker / snappier transmission. But again, just leave this in the automatic mode and you'll be just fine. And I mentioned the Raptor there, so I have tested the Bronco Raptor, and it's a cool vehicle, but it's just too wide and too cumbersome to place out on the road. So I personally was not a big fan of driving the Bronco Raptor. These kind of regular Sasquatch models are perfect in my opinion. They're still really capable off-road, and it's not intimidating to drive. It's easy to place out on the road. But I will say the Raptor was easily the quickest Bronco that you can get. You can genuinely feel the difference in power. It's truly a step up from these 4 cylinders and these 2.7 liter V6 engines. I believe when Car and Driver did a test on the Raptor model, they got a 0 to 60 time of like 5.6 seconds. But overall, wrapping up my drive with the Stroppe Edition, honestly, I've always enjoyed the way pretty much all of the Broncos drive, meaning it's been such a joy and such a treat to drive this for the week. And if you love attention, you're going to love the Stroppe Edition because everyone's looking at this. There was a guy in a Jeep Wrangler who literally stuck his whole head out the window just to take a look at this Stroppe Edition Bronco. And again, in this sea of gray, white, black, silver vehicles, this Stroppe Edition, it really does stick out, and it just brings joy to everyone. As mentioned before, you know, younger folks, elderly, everyone in between, they just love seeing this vehicle out on the road. And with that established, let's go ahead and let's transition into this interior segment now. Okay, now that we are stopped, let's quickly talk about this interior space. When you step inside, we continue to get some code orange accents all throughout, like we have the orange stitching on the seats and also on this upper dash area here as well. This is like a hard touch material, but I do like the finishing on this. And we have some code orange stripes throughout and also on the goat mode selector. And we have a Stroppe Edition badge as well, or a plaque, and the center console. Very cool, and I appreciate this white on the dash with the code orange Bronco lettering. Overall solidity of this cabin is excellent, and just about every Ford product that I've tested over the last several years now have been solid and sturdy. Never had an issue. No creaks or rattles going on here. Doors feel great, and as mentioned before, these vehicles are essentially fully loaded. You get the massive 12-inch screen, which is elegantly implemented into the dash. You get your wireless Apple CarPlay, your wireless Android Auto. You have a clean, crisp 360 camera as well. The screen is not the most elegant to look at, but it is really functional and it is quick to respond. And I appreciate all of the physical controls that we have here and the physical buttons and switches for the HVAC. Beautiful, really well done. You have your heated seats and your heated steering wheel, but at this price point, it would have been cool to see some cooled seats being implemented as well, because the way that you see it here, the Stroppe Edition, it's almost $78,000. Granted, I've seen dealerships already discounting these, but I'll talk more about that in the conclusion segment. Continuing on, we have the full digital gauge cluster. Once again, really easy to use, really crisp, no glare or any issues with these screens at all. And both screens respond quickly, as mentioned before, because when you play with the various GOAT modes, the animation on the digital gauge cluster, it is really quick and smooth. I like the steering wheel. It is the perfect size, and we do have some buttons on the wheel, of course, but shockingly, no code orange stitching on the steering wheel. That is so bizarre to me. Kind of a missed opportunity. Some subtle ergonomic things that I've noticed is, you know, I am 5'11" and I sit closer to the steering wheel than most people my size, and I've noticed that my knee kind of bumps up against this plastic piece right here in the center console. It would have been nice if this material was a softer molded material. And also we have our headlight controls on the left side towards the bottom, and sometimes my knee can bump up against the headlight switch, so something else to keep in mind there. It's not a big deal, I just wanted to bring that up. Seats are exceptionally comfortable. I believe these are like the vinyl seats. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, it seems like a nice durable material, and both of these front seats are manual adjusted. But for the driver, you do get some lumbar support as well. I will say, getting in and out of this vehicle can pose a challenge. Once again, I am 5'11". We do have this side step here, and it's kind of like a Raptor-esque side step. I forgot what that material is called, but it's similar to like that spray and bed liner coating. I mean, that's kind of what they've applied to that side step. So it's really durable and it's really grippy as well. You're not just going to slip off of it. So utilizing that side step, getting in is fine, but getting out is not the most dignified thing, because me at 5'11", I'm not super tall and I'm not super short. So I just end up kind of sliding out of the vehicle, if that makes sense. But oh well, just comes with the territory of a lifted up vehicle, I suppose, right? Yeah, those side steps are incredible, and you're able to remove them for off-road purposes. You just undo some bolts, and Ford has intelligently built in some rock sliders as well. Really great design. Love the fact that you can remove those side steps pretty easily. You can also remove the fenders as well, so you don't damage them while off-roading. And of course, like, these panels are removable. You can drive this essentially topless if you want. But continuing on with the features, because this is a fully loaded product, we do have here the Bang & Olufsen 12-speaker audio system. Sounds incredible, good clarity, good bass, really impressed by it. But of course, this cabin, it's not exactly meant to enjoy music in, but it's nice to have a good quality audio system for sure. Storage space in here is okay. We have 2 cup holders in the middle, and we have like this net for the door pockets. You've got some good storage to put your phone in the middle, and we have our USB-C and USB ports in the front, and we have this center armrest, which is quite deep, kind of makes up for the slightly smaller glove box that we have. And because you can remove the doors, the window switches are actually in the center console, and your mirror controls are also in the center console as well. I mentioned this during the drive, but this is a rather easy vehicle to place out on the road. No issues. The side mirrors do a great job as well. You have your various traction control buttons and off-road controls on top of the dash here, and you also have your various auxiliary switches up top, and we have the garage door home link buttons on the driver's side sun visor. Now, these 2-door Broncos still come with rear seats. It is a bit of a challenge to get back there and to get out, but once you're in, I can actually comfortably sit in the rear seats of this 2-door Bronco. Really impressive. I'm glad that Ford is offering us these seats. It just makes this vehicle just a bit more flexible. I will say though, the rear trunk space, it's a bit of a con, as you would expect. We have a lot less space back there than the 4-door Broncos, and you are able to fold down those rear seats, but it's not going to fold down completely flat though. Overall, great job with the interior. Solid, comfortable, good features. Everything works flawlessly, and it's rather easy to use as well. So with that established, let's go ahead and let's conclude this review. Concluding thoughts on the 2025 Ford Bronco Stroppe Edition. Well, like with all Broncos I've tested, I love driving it, and I really enjoy the way that this looks. Ford always does a great job with their kind of heritage models. It's well finished, it gathers a ton of attention, and it is such a vibe to drive this. Not to mention, this is the most capable 2-door Bronco built, the closest thing to a 2-door Bronco Raptor that we are going to get. And for 2025, this is the only way to get that 2.7 liter V6 engine with the 2-door. Of course, you were able to get this before in the past with things like the Wild Track, but for 2025, they are limiting the V6 to the Stroppe Edition. And by the way, the Stroppe Edition is only available with the 2-door. You cannot get a Stroppe Edition 4-door Bronco. The 4 doors are available with a different Heritage Edition, which also looks really cool in my opinion. But this model, right, as capable as it is, you know, it's $78,000. It's a special edition. Would I off-road this? I mean, I gotta say, this might be blasphemy, but no, I wouldn't. This is just too special. It's too nice. I hate to say this, but I think I would reserve this as a mall crawler and as like a cars and coffee machine, honestly. If I wanted to off-road a Bronco and go crazy with one, I would just get the base model 2-door Bronco with the Sasquatch package for around $50K. And of course, my personal favorite is the Big Bend 4-door with the Sasquatch. That's about $58,000 the way I would spec it. And there's actually exceptional lease programs right now with the Ford Bronco. So I would just lease a Big Bend Sasquatch. That's what I would personally do. But listen, if you have deep pockets, If you appreciate the Stroppe Edition, go ahead and enjoy it. And once again, if you want to take this off-road, more power to you. Just PPF it and have a blast. I feel like most Bronco owners are rather wealthy, so go ahead, enjoy yourself. But also, as mentioned before, some of the regular Bronco models are rather affordable to lease. So in the description box of this video, I will have a free leasing calculator brought to you by AutoCompanion. This is a very powerful tool because it shows you the interest rate of a lease, the residual values, and the incentives that you can get in your local zip code. Once again, that's a free resource. Use that and you can run numbers on multiple different vehicles. And I alluded to this before. I mean, these Stroppe Editions, they're already being discounted by a lot of Ford dealerships. I believe there's about 500 or 600 of these available in the entire country as of right now, August of 2025. So if you want one, go ahead. I think you will really enjoy this driving experience and the looks of this vehicle. If you found value with this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.